Let's discuss the currency as well as the economy. Anant Narayan from Standard Chartered Bank joins us on the show now. Anant, hi, morning. Firstly, your view on a couple of data points that seem to be impacting the currency right now. A, the Syrian crisis, and B, the entire anonymity of what the Fed chooses to do come 17th or 18th.
No, absolutely, Ayesha. These are, as the RBI governor said, extremely interesting times. And it promises to remain interesting for a while, unfortunately. You're right, there is the immediate Syrian crisis which is still unfolding. Oil prices remain elevated because of that. And there will be nervousness in markets, particularly in emerging markets like India. The Fed seems to be a little more clearer. Clearly, the U.S. economy is doing a lot better than it was 12 months ago. And frankly, it's a matter of time before the Fed announces that they will be eventually seeing full employment, maybe as early by 2016. And typically, when we have full employment, the Fed funds rate tends to be in the 3 to 4% range. So the fact that overnight rates in the US will eventually head up, not just the QE tapering, but actual rates going up, is a given. But frankly, that need not be a long-term negative for us. Yes, it could mean short-term negative in terms of funds flow availability being low. But in the long run, a US economy that's doing well has to be good for us. In the short to medium run, Ayesha, it does look extremely murky. There are positives, believe it or not, and there are obviously some very large negatives. So besides, the Syrian crisis and the FOMC uncertainty, there is also a sense of reflexivity in the Indian markets currently, where a spiral in the rupee can actually impact fundamentals, which can then feed back into the rupee. So, you actually have a situation where you could see equity market outflows because of rupee being elevated. You could see the inflation expectations and fiscal deficit expectations go out of track because of dollar rupee being too high. And that could in turn feed into outflows and feedback in a negative spiral to dollar rupee itself. So that risk remains pretty high. There is also the risk that you have an S&P downgrade at some stage. And of course, the impending elections means that the expectations on the policy front will remain muted. There are positives though. So the current account deficit is genuinely improving. It was $12 billion for June and July. August, we think, will be even lower than that. We could actually see current account deficit come down to close to zero in August. And frankly, the fact that the RBI has taken away the oil demand for dollars from the market for the last few days is a huge positive in terms of flow. So there are positives, but unfortunately, at the moment, the risks seem to dominate our minds.
Anant, for rupee to reverse or for rupee to stabilize, do you think globally something needs to change? Either oil has to come down or Fed tapering has to get delayed or deferred?
I don't think everything is externally focused, Nikunj. I think a few things can happen domestically for us to change track. To me, honestly, rupee seems to have overshot its value. I think it's overweak right now. It ought to correct back. The risk, of course, is of a reflexive kind of a move, which frankly would be more sentiment-driven than fundamental-driven. But if you ask me personally, things aren't as bad as they appear to be when you see the markets. The fact is, the actual volatility, the actual volumes going through the market have come down. It does look like small amounts of demand is sort of having an inordinate kind of move in the dollar rupee. It ought not to be that way. Things ought to settle down. And frankly, Nikunj, if you look at the actual balance of payments, even the most pessimistic of players is not calling for more than $20 billion of balance of payments deficit. We ourselves think it will be less than $10 billion. We think it will be $7 billion shortfall this year, despite an FI outflow. So frankly, given the size of our reserves, given the size of the actual expected balance of payments deficit, we are in a range which is, completely overshot the fair value. I think the fair value is south of 65, not north of 65.
Anant, many experts are of the view that current account deficit or CAD, the most dreaded word for the currency market, is a yesterday's story. It is not a tomorrow's trend. So why are markets so worried about it?
No, you're right, Nikunj. So look, these are all connected, right? About 12 months ago, we were all scared that the fiscal deficit is going into the 6% handle and therefore the economy is going to be downgraded. Those fears were belied and the authorities did a good job in bringing fiscal deficit below 5%. Similarly, we started off by saying current account deficit is spiraling out of control. Clearly, there are indications that it is coming under control. But you need that to be under control and the capital side to be under control as well. Again, the analysis that we have done indicates that the overall balance of payments, which is the critical number really, rather than looking at components of it, is not going to be that bad. The only risk, Nikunj, is that like in the 98 crisis, which impacted all of Asia, the movement in dollar rupee itself spurs the fundamentals to weaken, which in turn changes the balance of payments. So if you have dollar rupee breaching some more levels like 70, etc., and that scares the equity markets into taking out more money, that can be a huge negative spiral where frankly fundamentals will change by themselves, sentiment will change by themselves. So the numbers then will go out of whack. But if you ask me, as things stand today, given the fundamentals that we have right now, there is no reason for that to happen. Things can be controlled. This is an overshot territory and it should be south of 65, like I said.
And a good chatting with you. Appreciate you taking the time out and speaking with us.